So when you age, your cardiovascular system changes in many ways, starting with your heart muscle. So your heart muscle loses its elasticity, which means that the myocardium toughens up. So this means that you're more likely to have a heart attack due to the buildup of pressure and the lack of blood that can get to the heart. This also, your bioreceptors become less sensitive. So your bioreceptors detect your change in blood pressure. This means that when they lose their sensitivity, they are unable to normalize the changes occurring, therefore resulting in an increase in blood pressure, which could lead to hypertension, which is abnormally high blood pressure. So when you age, your SA node loses some cells. So your SA node is known as the pacemaker. So if it loses some cells, this means that it could lose its rhythm and coordination. This could have the opposite effect of baroreceptors, so it can slow down your heart rhythm, which is called bradycardia. Therefore, your heart rate will decrease with your blood pressure. When you age, your capillary walls thicken, making gaseous exchange more challenging because the oxygen and carbon dioxide can't be transported as easily. With age, your blood volume increases because of the less plasma in it, and your blood cell production is lowered. This means that the red blood cells lower as well, resulting in your oxygen capacity decreasing because you won't have as many red blood cells carrying oxygen around the body. Therefore, your aerobic capacity also decreases. A study done by Shavitz et al. Shows that for men and women, there are VO2 increase at the age of 16 to 18, however starts to decline at 30, 50 and 75 years old. So when you age, there are certain conditions that can also occur. So angina is one of them. Angina is a form of coronary heart disease. This is where there is a partial blockage in the coronary vessel, meaning that the blood can't be transported as quickly as possible. So this may mean that when you are exercising, blood needs to be rushed and transported to the working muscles in order to keep them having enough energy levels to continue and for you to work. So if you don't have enough blood to like red blood cells to transport it, it won't gonna get enough. As well as if you have a blockage in the coronary vessel, not enough will get through and it will pile up until you may have a heart attack. So another condition that may occur is arteriosclerosis. This is where there is fatty deposits in the arteries. So these fatty deposits are LDL cholesterol. So this also connects with another condition concerning arteries, which is arteriosclerosis. This is the hardening of the arteries. So this could mean that because the arteries are blocked, the oxygen won't be able to be transported through as quickly, therefore there being a decrease in oxygen going to your lungs and your working muscles as you exercise. This could impact an athlete when doing aerobic exercise mainly, because they won't have as much oxygen in their working muscles. So this can make them more tired and at a risk of high buildup of lactic acid. So lactic acid is what builds up in your muscles as you exercise. It's a buildup of like waste products, and the way to break it down is through oxygen. So therefore, if you don't have enough oxygen at your working muscles, this lactic acid will build up more than it being broken down by oxygen. So finally, the last condition that may occur when you age is anemia. So anemia is when you have a low deficiency of iron. This means that you can't produce enough hemoglobin. So this means that you are unable to transfer as much oxygen again around the body, which can affect an athlete because they won't be able to get enough oxygen to the working muscles, break down that lactic acid and continue to work harder, faster, train and build more muscle power, strength and overall fitness. So the next system is the respiratory system. So again, as you age, your respiratory system changes, which is no shock. So by the time you are 25, your lungs will be fully matured. However, as you age, your respiratory muscle strength decreases, as well as your volume decreases and the expansion of your lungs become less elastic. This therefore means that your lungs physically can't expand as much if the elasticity is gone. So this then means that your tidal volume and ventilation decreases due to the decrease in lung expansion. The reason for this is because if your lungs can't expand as much, you aren't able to obtain as much oxygen as you were originally able to. This may mean that you are needing to increase the amount of breaths that you have to take per minute due to your tidal volume decreasing and the amount of oxygen able in your lungs and to be transported. This also means that you have a small vental capacity due to the expansion of your lungs declining. As you age, your alveoli also decreases in shape, starting at the age of 35 years old. This then means that the surface area is much smaller, making gastric exchange less efficient. So gastric exchange is the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen around the body to working muscles and in the lungs. So the reason for this is because your alveoli aren't able to store as much oxygen. Therefore, when gastric exchange does occur, less oxygen is able to be transported throughout the body to the working muscles, etc. This could be an issue for elite athletes due to the fact that they aren't able to consume as much oxygen there for aerobic activities such as long distance running may be more tiring because the working muscles aren't able to get that oxygen and they may fatigue quicker. So therefore lactic acid could also build up at a faster pace, adding to the fatigue and tiring of the muscles. In order to help improve the factors above and delay these from occurring, you can incorporate cardiovascular exercise in order to make sure the elasticity of the lungs stay the same, therefore being able to maintain the right amount of oxygen. So an exercise that is proven to help is breathing, power breathing. So this adds resistance to your muscles in your lungs, therefore allowing them to strengthen, be more elastic and expand, to have more vital capacity and more oxygen in your system at once. Finally, all of these factors may mean that it takes longer to recover due to the lack of oxygen going to the working muscles to break down the lactic acid and waste products building up while exercising. Finally, on to different other factors, starting with metabolism. Metabolism as you age decreases and occurs because of your muscle mass decreasing, as well as the amount of fat you have tends to increase. This means that because your muscle mass decreases and unable to burn the amount of calories you are eating, therefore this means your fat will increase because you're not burning as many calories as before. So your metabolic rate decreases due to all of this. So your metabolic rate may also decrease due to the amount of exercise you actually do. This means that when you age, especially with muscle mass decreasing, there can be a reasonably high metabolic rate as you age. If you continue to do regular exercise, however, it will start to decrease slightly because of your decline in muscle mass. So overall, if you stick to the same exercise, you will be burning the calories. Therefore, just because your muscle mass is decreasing doesn't mean your metabolic rate will automatically decrease with it. Okay, so thermoregulation, so as you age, thermoregulation also decreases. When your thermoregulation decreases, it means that your sweat glands don't work as well. This means that as you age, you aren't able to sweat as much as normal. This could be an issue because you are unable to cool yourself down, meaning that you can be prone to overheating, especially when doing exercise. When you do exercise for a long period of time that gets your heart rate moving, you should be sweating, and if you don't sweat, you could overheat and then dehydrate. Therefore, your sweat mechanism is delayed, which could lead to exhaustion. If exhaustion occurs, it may mean that you cannot recover back to normal temperature as quickly as normal, meaning you would need more rest period, especially if you exercise, because they could then come dehydrated, get headaches, and overall feel ill and have nausea and maybe sickness. Okay, so finally moving on to body composition. Body composition changes over time as you age because your body fat increases, meaning that you could have an increased risk of type 2 diabetes, as well as different cardiovascular diseases. The way of preventing this and the amount of body fat gained as you age is to maintain a healthy, balanced diet, do exercise, and just make sure you do a healthy amount of exercise weekly in order to keep your body fat percentage down. Overall, there are many ways that you can help prevent all of these different system factors from occurring. Some of them would be maintain your exercise level as you age to keep your strength and power the same, and you will not find a loss of independence when doing day-to-day tasks, as well as keep a healthy diet, make sure you get all your nutritional factors in, and just make sure you overall keep yourself in a healthy condition to stay as strong and young as possible. Also, mainly for the cardiovascular system, make sure you get checkups recently on your heart, just to make sure that if anything does happen, you catch it early and the effects of it